The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by Dubby, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. Dubby's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit dubby.gg.com/discount/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. Dubby Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. It is the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, hanging out with you here on a Monday morning. Hoping that everyone's having themselves a great day so far today. A lot of things that we want to talk about in the world of sports. The NCAA comes down with their punishments on the University of Michigan. The NCAA thinking of expanding from 12 teams to 24 teams. I wonder who came up with a 25-team NCAA playoff just last year. I wonder who that person could have been. Got laughed out of the room whenever I brought up a 25-team playoff. Just make it happen. Just make it happen, NCAA. And then, of course, all of the preseason games. But before we get into that, I just have to remind everybody that the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by our friends over at Crushed Peanuts. Visit them online, crushedpeanuts.com. Guys, 9 grams of protein, the perfect way to start your day. Crushed Peanuts, the only way you can crush your day with Crushed Peanuts. We got our dude, B. Strilla, tuning in, saying good morning, Tip. Good morning to you, Strilla. Hope that you're having yourself a fantastic day. You can check out all of his content. One ass cheek, 3 toes, covering everything with the Detroit Lions, the No BS show with Sonia Pearson. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it this week. I left work a little later than what I wanted to. We'll just put it that way. A little later than what I wanted to. But it's all good. C'est la vie, mon ami. We are all right. Got our dude, Tommy Cananza, tuning in saying, what's good, Mike? What's good, Tommy? Hope that you are having yourself a fantastic day. How are you feeling? I guess Strilla and Tommy, how are you feeling about your team's preseason performances so far? I was watching replays of the Dallas Cowboys preseason game. Then Sunday morning, because I was working Saturday night, so Sunday morning, I'm watching replays of the Dallas Cowboys preseason game. I was watching a replay of Triple Mania. Made that more Italian than I wanted to. Triple Mania, which was actually really fun. If you haven't seen it, AAA, Lucha Libre, ton of fun, especially with what they're doing with the WWE. I've been all in on it. And then I got to watch our second favorite team play live yesterday, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they ended in a tie. And I cannot stress this enough. I cannot, like even if it's preseason, I cannot stand a tie. Give me a winner. Just give me a winner. Spencer Rattler and them boys from the New Orleans Saints tying the game up with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars' fourth string giving up a late game touchdown and 2-point conversion to Spencer Rattler and them boys. Bistro saying, no worries, you are welcome anytime. Tommy letting us know it's just a preseason. Don't necessarily care. Yeah. I think that's what I was going to bring up right now, Tommy, is after watching some of the highlights of the Dallas Cowboys game, Joe Milton, man, he had a lot of us thinking that he was going to be the answer. Like I said it on Saturday on Fire and Ice, that I think if Joe Milton or Dak Prescott were to go down, Joe Milton would be a serviceable quarterback. Then I see the highlights of this preseason game, and man, Joe Milton ain't it. But like Joe Milton letting me down right now, man. Making a liar out of me real quick. And I think the frustrating thing is you can see the arm talent there. You can see the talent there. The decision making is what's so bad. There was one interception that he threw where it was clear, like you had the safety covering the top, the corner down on the bottom, so it was double teamed, not the throw you want to make, and it wasn't even close to the receiver. It was like basically directly to the safety. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, my guy, one, you're staring him down. How do you not make a better pass like that the wide receiver probably could have made an effort on, instead of just 5 yards over his head right to the safety that was over the top? I get it. You got to like trust your arm that you can throw into all kinds of coverage and stuff like that. But man, Joe Milton, and I know I'm one of these guys, like I love me a gunslinging quarterback. Joe Milton feels like he's going to be a gunslinging quarterback. I don't know if I want that out of my backup. Like I can deal with that if that's my starter or my starter's good enough to be a gunslinger. I'm fine with that. But if it winds up being my backup quarterback and my starting quarterback goes down, the last thing I want is Joe Milton just out there slinging that thing as far as he physically can. It was that was the only thing, right? Like again, it's preseason. I need to see in game 3 a tiny bit of improvement. Just give me any improvement, Joe Milton. That's all I want. A little bit of improvement. It like you don't have to set the world on fire. Just don't make that mistake. As the Dallas Cowboys lose to the Baltimore Ravens 31-13, it felt like like last year. I will say this though, Cooper Rush going in for the Ravens only went 20 or 30, had 2 interceptions. So it's not like they were all that much better. But Joe Milton, the 20% or the 50% completion percentage, we can't do that. And then I look at Will Grier coming in here going 1 of 5. That's like, man, okay, we got to do better than that. Jonathan Mingo looked pretty good. I don't know, man. It's preseason. I shouldn't get this high. I shouldn't get that low. Bistro saying, I don't like our backup quarterback situation at all. Let's check in on the Detroit Lions. Who is the backup quarterback of them Detroit Lions? everything that you heard coming out of Lions camp last week, because the Lions and the Dolphins had a joint practice, everything you heard coming out of Detroit last week was how dominant the Detroit Lions looked in practice. And then they come out and they lose to the Miami Dolphins. Granted, again, you don't have starters in there. You don't have any of that stuff really going on. It's a preseason. But you lose to the Miami Dolphins. Quinn Ewers making up for the first game, actually looking like a halfway decent, serviceable quarterback. I am looking at the Lions' backup quarterback right now, Kyle Allen. 14 of 17, 124 yards, 2 tutties. I don't see anything bad. That like was there something specifically in the game, Strilla, that made you say, "Oh man, this ain't it"? Because that doesn't look bad. The Hendon Hooker part going 6 of 13, that's where I'm kind of like, "Oh, okay, that's a bit one." Exactly, that's one-on-one, and well, they also had like 7v7s, and they ran some 11-on-11s, but it wasn't again like the joint practice, right? And you heard this for back-to-back weeks, and maybe that's what lit a fire under the Miami Dolphins. The Chicago Bears were like, "Oh, that team doesn't practice the way we practice." Detroit came out here in back-to-back days, was dominating Miami. It was all over the headlines of how dominant the Detroit Lions were. I love that they have the standings. I love that they have the standings in the preseason records right now. The Detroit Lions are 1-2 and 0-2 at home. Oh no. But Kyle Allen, 14 to 17, obviously I didn't watch the game, so I'm going to have to go back and see something. But that doesn't look bad. Like, just on the surface, it doesn't look bad. Like, I would say it's okay. It's much better than what Joe Milton gave the Dallas Cowboys. I think Tommy's with me on this. I'd take 14 of 17, 124 yards and 2 tutties over what Joe Milton performed the other day. Dylan Gabriel went out there. That game was actually on during the during Fire and Ice this Saturday. Allen isn't that good. He's an 8-year veteran and he struggles to make throws. Stats don't tell you everything. And that's what I'm saying. I need to rely on you. I didn't watch the game. Again, Saturday I did Fire and Ice. Got to watch a little bit of the Browns. Then went over to Southwest University Park, getting stuff ready for the Locomotive game. Didn't get home till about 11:30. So I missed all of the preseason games except for the Browns thrashing, just absolutely beating the brakes off of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Browns 2-0 in the preseason so far. Dylan Gabriel, 13 of 18, 143 yards, had an interception, but he kept moving the ball down the field. That's what you want, right? You want him to move the ball down the field. Tommy Canazza saying 100%. Zach Allen looks like he'll give you something. Joe Milton looks like he's just going to throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks. It's the preseason, though. Again, right, like shouldn't get too high, shouldn't get too low. It's just the preseason. I'm trying to think of the right way to word this, right? Like I'm always disappointed, I guess, in the NCAA whenever they come up with these sanctions against teams, right? The headline is the University of Michigan gets a major fine, add to more ban for sign stealing, will appeal. So Michigan's going to appeal their scandal from a couple of years ago. Connor Stallions doing his thing, stealing signs apparently, blah, 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 blah. Michigan going to get fined. Yeah, Phil Maffa's looking good. Phil Maffa's looking good. Like I want to see I want to see him get more carries. I will say that. I didn't have the stats. Let me find the stats on good old Phil. I mean, he is looking good. I think that's going to be something that helps out the Dallas Cowboys is going to be depth, right? Like there's going to be some depth. He's averaging 3.5 yards a carry during the preseason, which is okay. A couple of receptions, which is okay. But he's looking good. He looks like he belongs. Like he looks like he can play in the NFL. That's what we want, right? Deuce Vaughn still doesn't look like that. I know Miles Sanders got the bulk of the carries this week for the Dallas Cowboys. What was it? 7 carries for like 13 yards or something like that. Miles Sanders not looking like it's the way to go. The University of Michigan received a series of fines that could eclipse $30 million, but avoided punitive penalties such as a postseason ban or the vacating of victories, including during the 2023 National Championship season, as the NCAA Division I Committee on Infractions ruled on the Wolverines' advanced scouting case on Friday. The NCAA also imposed an additional game suspension for coach Sharon Moore, which will be served for the first game of the 2026 season. So next year, Moore is expected to serve a 2-game suspension in the upcoming season, which ESPN reported in May that the university proposed to self-impose. He also received a 2-year show cause penalty. The 2025 games he will miss will be the Wolverines' 3rd and 4th games of the season, a home contest against Central Michigan, and a road matchup at Nebraska. The 2026 opener is expected to be against Western Michigan in Frankfurt, Germany. Why is Michigan playing in Germany? I love that the NCAA is doing the NFL thing and like let's just send teams over to Europe and see how it goes. Tommy Canazzo talking about Phil Maffa saying he didn't play too much, but when he's in there, he's making plays and getting the hard yards. That's what matters. That's really what matters. And again, like he looks like he can play in the NFL. In the preseason, you'll see a lot of guys that just don't look like they belong. Phil Maffa looks like he belongs. He looks like he can be your short yardage back, right? Like I like what I know a lot of people. I know I had this conversation with Brandon Cohn on Saturday. I like that the Dallas Cowboys haven't gone out there and spent a ton of money on the running back position. Just because I like Blue. I like Maffa. I think Javonte Williams and and Miles Sanders could be serviceable to get you some yards. You have some depth there at running back. I was big on Deuce Vaughn. I thought he could be a home run hitter for you, but he's just always hurt, and I haven't seen the breakaway speed that you would expect to see from Deuce Vaughn whenever he came into the NFL. B. Shrill saying, yeah, I'm not liking the Michigan going to Germany thing. Is there like I know it's what Iowa and Iowa State or something like that's going to play in Dublin this year, which I know whenever I think of Irish, I think of Iowa. But I'm trying to like, is there a connection? Because like the Dublin thing I saw, okay, you had Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, going to Dublin and playing that game. That totally makes sense. But I guess it makes as much sense as the Jacksonville Jaguars going to London every year and playing games in London. I guess there doesn't have to be necessarily a connection. I was just thinking, is there a connection of Michigan football to Germany? Right? Like back in the day, way back in the 1914s. 1914, I want to say, was the season. The University of Texas at El Paso had a football coach who had like chased Pancho Villa. So if UTEP went to go play in like Mexico, I can be like, oh, okay, I can see a connection there, right? Harry Van Serden was the man's name. We were going to name our studios at Fox Sports 1380 after Harry Van Serden. He also wanted to be the quarterback for the University of Texas at El Paso, despite graduating and having military service, because his quote was, "The NCAA doesn't exist past the Mississippi River." Could you imagine, like, you're the coach and the quarterback, but you're a grown-ass man, like you're 29 years old, playing up against 18-year-olds in 1914, already past the expected living age? When people were getting married at 11 and dying at 19. They had a long life. I'm so glad. Like, I'm one of these people where, like, I think about, like, oh, maybe I was born in the wrong decade or the wrong generation or something like that. I'm so glad to be born now because, like, let's see, El Paso in the 1914s, we're talking about the bath riots. Like, you're crossing over the border and being doused with, like, gasoline and stuff, kerosene, because they thought you were filthy just because of the color of your skin. Kind of glad I'm living in the era that I'm living in now. Some things could be better, but I'm glad that we are in the era that we're in right now. Augustine saying, good morning, people. Good morning to you, Augustine. Hope that you're having a great day. Augustine just missed going to Buffalo Wild Wings this Saturday for Fire and Ice, as Brandon the Iceman Cone and myself were live at Buffalo Wild Wings, 655 Sunland Park Drive. Augustine saying, I wish I was born in like 2355, where there would be warp drive and lightsabers. LOL. I was thinking about that the other day too. You read books and like even see movies from like way back in the day of what they thought. Augustine saying, I didn't just miss it, I was stupid on it. Well, I didn't want to say that. But like you read books and you see movies from like way back, right? Of what they thought the 2000s and 2020s would be. And I feel like we let them down. Like we don't have hovercraft. We don't have any of that. So like go back and watch Back to the Future. Was it Back to the Future 2? And see what they thought 2015 was going to look like. We have the chaos. I'll give you, we got all the chaos, but we don't have any of the cool futuristic stuff. I want to say even, God, what's that? Was Demolition Man like a 2020s thing too? I have to look into that. What they thought Demolition Man, I gotta remember what part of the future Demolition Man was. Well, we're nothing like that. Nothing like it. Augustine saying, I was looking for a place to eat because my son just entered the Cañotillo race and he was hungry. And they had bottomless apps at Buffalo Wild Wings every Saturday. Well, every day they have the bottomless apps, but every Saturday you can catch Brandon the Iceman Cone and myself over at Buffalo Wild Wings. Demolition Man was 2032. There we go. So it's coming up, right? Like it's coming up. We are nowhere there. We are nowhere near there. Virtual reality headset sex. I'm down for it. I don't know why that's one of the few things that sticks out to me about that movie. I haven't seen that movie in so long, but I remember that. Them putting on those little helmets and having sex that way. We're definitely not doing that. Not in 2025. We're 7 years away. I don't think we're coming up with the technology to do all that. But I look at those. I feel like we let down the past. They had such high hopes for what they thought it was going to be in the year 2025, and we let them down. My bad, Tommy. My bad. My kids aren't here, so my barometer of what I can say is like they're at school already. My apologies. Sincerely. Tommy's daughter, my apologies. I'm surprised she actually like listens. I'm like she doesn't have like her headphones in, listening to something else. Like my 8-year-old, he has like his own little headphones and stuff. And he just like vibes in the back of the car. Like he doesn't even care what the hell is going on in my world. I could be talking to him and I'll just look in the rearview mirror and he's just vibing in the back, jamming to music at 8 years old. Told me he wants to be a mechanic and now I want to find a way to make him a mechanic. He loves cars, absolutely loves cars. Wants me to buy him. Get this nonsense. My 8-year-old, for his 9th birthday, wants me to buy him a Koenigsegg. If you don't know what a Koenigsegg is, look it up. But it's a supercar, and there's no way in hell. And he wants me to teach him how to drive this weekend. Like, dude, you're 8. You're 8. Maybe what I need to do is get like a beat-up truck, take it out to the desert, and just let him go ham. Because I remember being like that young, but I grew up on a farm, so we were driving tractors and trucks and stuff like that, going out baling hay, having to drive the truck up a little bit to like, you know, get the hay loaded up on the back of the trailer and all that stuff. Be still saying, damn kids. I know, I mean, I love him to death. Don't get me wrong. I love him to death. I am not buying his little ass a Koenigsegg. Not unless daddy hits the lottery, which ain't happening. And maybe even then, I think I'd rather put that money into like an account for him that he can have as he gets older. I'm not buying a damn Koenigsegg. He wants me to trade in my Mustang for a Mustang Mach-E. I don't think I'm there yet. I love my Mustang. I don't think I'm there for the Mustang Mach-E. That's what he wants. He wanted a Koenigsegg and a Cybertruck. Augustine saying, I'll buy it for him. Those are really cool. Good luck. Good luck. I know you got money, Augustine. Don't buy a Koenigsegg. You can't even drive them in this country. Like, come on now. You got to buy a car. And like, I'm this way. People always give me shit for it because I drive my Mustang all the time. I have a 2008 Mustang convertible GT, right? But it's got a very unique color on it. It's a champagne color that Ford put on like 140 or like a small number of cars. And they're like, oh, you shouldn't drive it that much. It's collectible. Fuck that. Sorry. I buy the car to drive it, man. Augustine saying, yes, El Paso to Alamogordo is a great street and no cops ever. You must be driving down that street at a different time than I am, because there seems to be cops on that part of the road all the time. That's the stop. Going down 54 to Alamogordo. That's the stop where I was in the back seat of the car as like a grown adult. I was with my parents. We go through the Border Patrol checkpoint. They make us pull over to the side, and they interrogate us because they thought that I was hijacking my parents. Granted, I had a beard, but I was active duty at the time. Like, I was on leave, so I had like a nice beard going. Visiting my parents, we were going up to Ruidoso or something like that. And the Border Patrol separated us, interrogated me, asked me what my name was, didn't believe my 3 IDs that I have, that I carry all the time. Because I realized this does not look like Michael Robert Tipton. Asked my parents, do you know this guy? Are you safe? This Osama bin Tipton looking guy back here? That's one of the funnier things that have happened to me at that checkpoint. But I see cops there all the time. All the time. The way that I went up to Kansas City for the NFL draft was through US 54. Didn't realize that road basically goes all the way up to Kansas City. It was a good drive. It was a fun drive. Augustine saying, I've never seen cops there. Well, good for you. I have. Maybe it's because I am a nefarious looking individual. My dark skin. I probably shouldn't say that. I'm not going to say that. But I have seen cops. At least more than one. And that's just a tip of how you can stay safe on that road.
I just want to put the tip in. It's time for
Just a Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable. Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip? Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just the Tip is brought to you by our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com. Go over to www.myhappynuts.com and you will see on the home page they have the new Lumberjack 2.0, sharper blades, a smoother glide, more power where it counts, everything your old trimmer wishes it could be is in the new Lumberjack 2.0. You're smooth already? You like what you got? Then guess what? We have the Happy Nuts About You box that you can get right now. It's a bundle, the Nuts About You bundle for $34.99. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save even more. Guys, take care of yourself. All of your manscaping needs are taken care of at www.myhappynuts.com. Go out there, get the Lumberjack 2.0, and live your best life. Nice and smooth, not too hairy. If no one wants the biggest bush out there, we'll be all right. It'll be okay. So on Saturday after, what a weird transition. On Saturday after Fire and Ice, I got an alert on my phone from ESPN talking about how the NCAA might actually be looking into the possibility of expanding the CFP final, going from 4 teams 2 years ago to 12 teams last year to the possibility of 24 teams in the near future. I don't think it's going to happen in 2026, but I am here for it. I told you all last year, and I've been talking about this for a while. I have a top 25 NCAA tournament style bracket. Yes, there will be a couple of weird bye weeks and stuff like that. That's fine. We can find our way through it. You have enough bowl games that you can get this done. Because let's be honest, no one wants to see a 7-win team from like Western New Mexico face off against an 8-win team from Southern Delaware State Technical College in Barbados or wherever. I probably should have had up a funny bowl name. Let's look up the funny bowl names. Nobody wants to see the Evansville Purple Aces taking on the Presbyterian Blue Hose in the Bad Boy Motors Gasparilla Bowl. Nobody cares about those teams, right? And I get it. People are going to say, Tip, then where will UTEP play if UTEP wins 7 games? If you aren't good enough to be in the top 25, you shouldn't be on national TV in a bowl game. Endo discussion. If you can't crack the top 25, I don't care about you. I don't want to watch you. And look, that also goes to Texas Tech, which could be the 26th team out. I'll be like, damn, there was a 26th team out, but I don't care. If you can't make the top 25 and go into the playoff, then there's no need for you to complain. None whatsoever. No need to complain. It takes away all the ammunition from these people that, again, my guy Brandon the Iceman Cohn, he's one of these people. We want it to be fair. We want the teams out there. They need to play the games and they need to make sure that everyone has a chance to win a national championship. No, they don't. Because not every damn team out there is created equal. UTEP and Texas Tech are not UT Austin. Birmingham, Alabama, UAB is not Alabama. Not all these teams are created equal. And we saw that you all don't care about the storyline. You don't care about Cinderella. Because if you did, you would have watched the NBA Finals between the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder, because that was such a fun NBA Finals to watch. You would have watched a few years ago in the NCAA tournament where it was like FIU and Houston and San Diego State and like all of those other teams that made it to the Final Four. Nobody watched that. Nobody wants to see the mid-majors get their chance at a championship. None of us care. The NCAA shouldn't care. Bistro saying that would be a catastrophe if the NCAA does that. I should have done it better today, better planning. I'll do it for tomorrow. But I had it broken down. What bowl games would be what? Like what matchups you would have. You can keep all of the same bowl games. You can keep all of those same bowl games and turn each one of them into a college football playoff game. Which one gets that bowl more views on TV, which is what ESPN cares about. The Sun Bowl would more than likely have to leave CBS if it wants to be included in the college football playoff bowl series, right? But it gets more eyes on those games. It makes those games matter. Can I say this? Can I be objective in this? We don't care about the health of these athletes. Let's be honest. You are here to entertain us. You are a gladiator down there. If something bad happens to you, T's and P's, baby. Thoughts and prayers. Other than that, I couldn't care less about you. It's that transactional in sports. Let's stop pretending it's not. We don't care about the health of these players. We care about our entertainment. So if they play a couple of more games, what does it matter? Like genuinely. The players might get hurt. They can get hurt in practice tomorrow. You know what happens if that player gets hurt in practice tomorrow? The games still play. The team still moves on. He sits his happy ass down at the bench, and the next guy comes up, and he has an opportunity to do something. Let's stop pretending like we genuinely care about these athletes, because we don't. It is strictly transactional. That's what sports are. It's a transaction. And I'm sorry if I'm the one breaking this news to you, bursting your bubble, getting you out of the little comfort zone you want to be in. We need to stop. Like we can't have our cake and eat it too. We need to stop talking outside both sides of our mouth. We either want a real national championship with teams that we actually care about, or we don't. And the more you complain about, oh, well, Arizona State should have had a chance. Boise State should have had a chance. Look what happened to Boise when they played against Penn State, a team that has a head coach that always loses against the best teams in the NCAA. They were destroyed. It wasn't even a good game. I know people are going to say, but Tip, what about Arizona State and Texas? That was a close game. Cool. Who won that game? Arizona State played the game of their life. Texas was out there playing with their food and still moved on. We don't care about the mid-majors out there or the teams that don't necessarily matter being in those positions. We don't. So why do we even want a group of 5 team represented in the NCAA, like in the college football playoff? Why does there need to be representation of these teams out there? I know people are going to hit me up with, well, Tip, remember whenever Central Florida went undefeated? Cool. Central Florida went undefeated. If Central Florida played Bama, what do you think was going to happen? Do you think Central Florida is going to win a championship? Do you think Central Florida is going to beat Alabama? Like genuinely, did we think that? Was it 2017? Is that the way that we thought it was going to go? There was no way in hell, none, that was going to happen. I'm here for it. You can, if you want it to be as fair as possible, make it a top 25. If you're not good enough to be in the top 25, you shouldn't have a voice. Make it a top 25. I want to say it was like the top 5 seeds a bye week. And move on your happy little way. Hell, if you really wanted to do it that way, you could probably give like the 1 seed a bye week and have everyone else play. Kind of like what they do in the NFL. I'll create the bracket. We'll go off the teams that had last year. We'll put them in their bowls. And we'll see where everyone would have been. To create a diagram. Oh, it's going to be fun. I know I downloaded it. I wonder if I can create a digital copy of it. And I can have it imposed here on the thing. But I'm here for it. We either want to be super inclusive and have all 25 teams of the top 25 in, or we go back to having a 4-team playoff, which I think was working perfectly outside of the few voices that were out there. Why are we allowing a loud minority to dictate what we do in sports? It shouldn't happen that way. Boise State should have had a chance. Be in a better conference. You have the ability to do that stuff. Schools are moving around conference to conference, time in and time out. Hell, UTEP is going to the Mountain West. And just as soon as UTEP goes to the Mountain West, all the good teams in the Mountain West are going to another conference. More than likely the Pac-12. They're all just running away from UTEP, just like they did whenever they went to the Mountain West. And UTEP wasn't invited. I think UTEP needs to look in the mirror and be like, is it me? Is there something wrong with me? Hello, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Yes, UTEP, it's you. You are the problem. The NCAA, again, we can't have our cake and eat it too. You either want to have all those teams in because there's always going to be some sort of complaint. They had 12 teams this year in the college football playoff. And there was complaint after complaint after complaint. I don't like the way they're seated. I don't think this team should be playing this team. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. You're not going to make everyone happy. So if you're going to go that route, then go the money route. Make every single bowl game a college football playoff game, and the money's going to come pouring in. More sponsorship, more etc. That's the only way the NCAA is going to survive. Because if the NCAA doesn't do this, the Big Ten and the SEC can start kicking teams out and bringing teams in, create their little super conference, and we're going to be left with the NCAA having Boise State and Arizona State in their national championship game, just like what we get in the NIT. Either all or nothing. And it really feels like we're going to be getting the nothing. The only way the NCAA can survive with college football is if they turn it into an NCAA college football tournament for the top 25. You want to say the top 24? Cool. But I feel like someone's going to come, oh, well, that top 25th team should have been in there. 25 was better than 24. What was the top 25 of last year? It's giving me this year. Give me last year. There we go. Who was the 25th team? Someone would have said, Iowa's better than NC State. I want to see Iowa in there. Sergeant Sims, my guy, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate the support. Saying, what's up, Mike? Want to give you a shout out. Keep dropping that sports knowledge. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Nothing but love and respect for you. One of the people I looked up to the most while I was in the United States Air Force. You talk about a gentleman and a scholar. That is who Lawrence Sims is. I appreciate you more than you know, sir. Once again, getting back to our NCAA tournament for college football. You would have included, let's get out of the top 12. You would have included Utah, LSU, Clemson, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Miami, Texas A&M, Arizona, Kansas, USC, NC State, Iowa. You would have had those teams. I know Iowa, Kansas, not sexy. Probably not something that everyone's like, oh, you know, that's a team that I want to really cheer for. But you would have had more markets. Like all those teams are teams that everyone knows something about. Maybe not so much Kansas, but you know what? You earned your way into the tournament. Maybe not so much Iowa, but you earned your way into the tournament. I don't know who the 26 team is. It wasn't giving me the top 26, only the top 25. Oh, we have to go with the CFP ranking. Sorry, my bad. My bad. I'm trying to check in on the CFP ranking. It was Indiana. Indiana was another one of those teams that shouldn't have been in the tournament last year, unless we're extending it out, right? Unless we're opening it all the way up. I want the top 25. If we're going to expand it this way, I want the top 25. That's the way it ought to be. That's the way it should be. I'll get off my high horse. I feel like I spoke the last 20 minutes to myself. No one had anything to say. Nothing to say. So I'm taking that as Tip, you're right. The silence means, Tipton, you are right. We all agree with you. All hail the Tip. Phrasing, maybe. Okay. So I want to end today's show talking about Major League Baseball. We've got a bunch of games coming up. We are down the stretch now. 73 plus 52 means we are at 125 games for the Toronto Blue Jays, which means we are under 40 games left. 40 games left in the Major League Baseball season. Augustine saying, we'll take it as Tip. We don't care. Who cares about second-tier football pre-NFL? College football, like, I would venture to say, is the second most popular sport in America. Tommy Canazza saying, I agree, but I'm driving. No texting and driving, Tommy. I appreciate the knowledge, though. Thank you. I would say, like, it's the NFL, college football. Dang, what would be like maybe the NBA, but like I feel like you're dropping, and it would probably be like March Madness would be above the NBA, but it would just be that 1 month of March Madness. But like college football and the NFL are the two biggest forces in the United States. I know Augustine's going to hit me with, no, well, soccer all over the world, basketball all over the baseball in Korea. I know you're going to hit me with that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about here. Like I can't even think of what another sport outside of college football, like what number two would be. Like it's the NFL and college football. So we're going to talk about the fifth or sixth most popular sport in the United States. I can't do that to baseball. Is it though? Man, I think I'm gonna have to come up with like a ranking here and see what it is. I think 1 and 2 are unequivocal. I don't think we can deny that one bit. Yeah, real football. I was doing research. I love doing all this research stuff. And I learned that like in 1869, like obviously that's whenever like regular football, American football as we know it, was like started. But like they were playing a form of football similar to soccer in the United States in like the 1820s. The only difference was that you couldn't pick the ball up and run with it. Then in like 1869, they're like, no, we'll start picking the ball up and you can run with it. That was Walter Campy, who came up with those rules. It was cool. It was fun doing some research on that. You can see how I spend my Sunday folding laundry, listening to podcasts, and researching the origins of football, American football. It was fun. I had a fun time. I enjoyed it. In Major League Baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays got themselves up to 73 wins, 52 losses on the season, a 5-game lead over the Boston Red Sox. The New York Yankees 5.5 out right now in that division. The best team in baseball continues to be the Milwaukee Brewers. They lost 1 game after having a 14-game winning streak. A 14-game winning streak for the Milwaukee Brewers. 78 wins, 45 losses on the season, the best record in Major League Baseball, followed closely by the Detroit Tigers and the Toronto Blue Jays, both teams with 73 wins on the season. 71 wins for the Philadelphia Phillies and the LA Dodgers. The Dodgers, after falling out of first place last week, got back into first place. A 2-game cushion in first place. The Giants falling apart. The same thing with the Arizona Diamondbacks. That would have been a fun stretch here, but it looks like it's coming down to the Padres, who have 69 wins, nice, on the season, and the LA Dodgers out of the West. I thought San Francisco might be able to hold on. Arizona might be able to hold on. It seems like they're getting separated. Like they would need a miracle. We got 40 games left, a little under 40 games left. Man, look at that. We're making it, guys. We're making it through the season. 162 games. Remember, week 1, Major League Baseball, we were talking about it. I don't care. There's 160 games left. Now there's in the 30s. 38-ish games left for most teams. The Houston Astros leading the AL West with 69 wins. Nice. The next win for the Boston Red Sox will be their 69th win. Nice. The Philadelphia Phillies with a 5-game lead over the Mets. The Mets crashing down to earth. Yes, they've won their last 2, but they're crashing down to earth right now. 3-7 in their last 10 games. They've lost, 14 out of 17 games in the month of August. The Mets were red hot and now just come crashing back down to earth. Let's check the wild card standings now. We have all the division leaders. If the wild card were to start today, it would be the Boston Red Sox, the Seattle Mariners, and the New York Yankees. The Yankees with a 3.5-game lead over the Cleveland Guardians, a 4-game lead over the Kansas City Royals. The Texas Rangers here need to make a push. They've got enough time. 5.5 games out, they've got enough time. The Yankees can collapse. We've seen the Yankees right now. They are 7-3 in their last 10, so they're doing better. They had that rough stretch at the beginning of August, last part of July, but they're getting better. In the NL, the Chicago Cubs, the San Diego Padres, and the New York Mets all would be in the playoffs today, but that team that beat the Milwaukee Brewers, that snapped the Milwaukee Brewers' 14-game win streak, the Cincinnati Reds, 1.5 games out of first place in the NL wild card. The St. Louis Cardinals maybe have a push in them as well, 5.5 games out. They're in that window. They're in that window of maybe, just maybe, they can have a chance to make it into the playoffs. San Francisco and Arizona, 6.5 games back. Miami, 7 games back. I think they're done. I think that's too much. Trying to make up 6 games or more in a month is going to be really difficult to do. Like, man, like the Giants are 4 games under 500 right now. The Diamondbacks are 5 games under 500. The Marlins are 6 games under 500. Like, they would need to get just red hot and hope that, the Mets can keep free falling. That's why I think the Reds have a real good chance here. They can keep free falling. But, man, it's going to be hard for those other teams. Like I think the Giants, the Diamondbacks, and the Marlins were out of it. All the remaining teams are out of it. The Colorado Rockies, 31 games out of playoff contention. They would need the Mets to lose every game, and they would need to win every game, so they're about to be mathematically eliminated. 11 games away from losing 100 games this season. I don't ever pray for the downfall of a team, but I kind of want them to lose 100 games on the season. Chicago White Sox, 20 games away from losing 100 on the season. We can get 2 100-loss teams this year in Major League Baseball. I'm here for it. I am here for it. Toronto, Detroit, Houston, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and LA, all leading their divisions right now as we are coming down the stretch of the Major League Baseball season. 38 games left for most teams. We're right there, guys. We're right there. We have survived it. We've gone through we're like Andy Dufresne, crawling through the river of excrement to get to freedom. Almost through the Major League Baseball season. We're right there, guys. We're right there. Speaking of crawling through a river of shit, thank you so much for tuning into today's show. We will see you all tomorrow. I'm going to have celebrity chef Josh Capon join me from the Little League World Series, where we are talking about the way that you as a parent can help your children as they are in athletics. Maybe you shouldn't be taking them to Whataburger all the time following a race. Maybe you got other things that they should be doing. That was a hit at Augustine. My apologies, Augustine. I got nothing but love for y'all. And I got nothing but love for everyone that tunes into this show. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have yourselves a great day.